In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
When the 2024 WNBA season started, it looked like Lexie Hull might disappear from the league's spotlight. She was once the 6th overall pick in 2022, a Stanford champion who carried herself like a future star. But under former coach Christy Sides, Hull was stuck at the end of the bench, barely seeing the floor while other role players passed her in the rotation. Fans started to wonder, would Hull ever live up to her potential, or was she headed toward being labeled a draft bust? Basketball has always...
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of everything.
Been in Hull's blood. Her grandfather and dad played the game, and she grew up alongside her twin sister in a family where competition was the norm. Her parents encouraged her and her sister to try every sport, but basketball was always at the center. Then everything changed with Caitlin Clark's arrival. Clark wasn't just a star. She was a once-in-a-generation player whose presence completely reshaped the Indiana Fever. Her scoring, playmaking, and energy transformed the team's identity. The moment I
think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
Stepped on the court, the offense had direction, the chemistry improved, and suddenly, every player's role shifted. For Hull, Clark wasn't just another teammate. She was a lifeline. Hull herself has said that building off-court connections with Clark was just as important as sharing the court. That bond helped create trust, and trust became fuel for the team's success. In recent interviews
She's been called the clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie.
She's for sports and the dunker spot. Hull was open about how much changed inside the locker room after Clark arrived. She explained how Clark's presence revived her own career path and showed what the Fever's future...
Beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the court.
Could look like the Indiana Fever's turnaround has become one of the best stories in basketball. And Lexie Hull is right in the middle.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
Love it. Her journey isn't just about one player fighting back. It's about redemption, leadership, and a culture shift that could shape the...
We were just sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that.
Fever's future. Hull, drafted 6th overall in 2022, came into the league with high expectations. But the early months of 2024 were rough.
Part of my role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the the momentum.
Despite her college success at Stanford, she couldn't find steady playing time. Role players like Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace were getting minutes, while Hull sat on the bench, a towel over her shoulders. She admitted it was tough, but stayed focused. At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely...
What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah. They're so impressive.
It looked different than it did at the end. Hull said, so I trusted that if I kept working, I'd be ready when the opportunity came. I'm proud of myself for staying the course. The drop from college star to WNBA bench warmer was more than just a physical challenge. It was a mental one. Adjusting to the league isn't easy. The basketball...
I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play with them.
Ball part of the transition is really tough. Hull explained, everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, it's been awesome.
Her perseverance through that struggle set the stage for her revival once the Fever's culture began to change. In the WNBA, every player was a star of their high school or college team. By the time you get to the pros, you're facing a mix of the best, some of whom have years of experience. For Lexie Hull, adjusting to that level while sitting on the bench made the challenge even tougher. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever were falling apart. They started the 2024 season 1-8. A miserable stretch that had fans.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more.
Demanding answers. The problems were everywhere. Poor rotations, weak defense, and no chemistry. Hull, stuck on the sideline, battled her own doubts while the whole team looked like it was sinking. Still, she kept working. Part of my role is just getting to the open spots. Hull said, we have such a good offense.
Sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, if I miss, she's definitely going to say, you got the next one. I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
That people find the open person. So when I get that chance, I'm excited to shoot, to score, and to help build momentum. She sharpened her movement off the ball, worked on her shot, and stayed ready. More importantly, she leaned on the support of her teammates, who believed in her even when the numbers didn't. That belief became her fuel. Playing alongside stars like Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston only made her better. They make my job really easy.
It's really awesome to get to know her as well because, she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her and our team has put on her and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome. And I'm just really proud to, have her on the team. And
I'll admit it. It's amazing to see their growth and it pushes me too. Then Caitlin Clark arrived and everything shifted. The locker room came alive, practices had energy, and fans packed arenas. The Fever went from being an afterthought to the most exciting show in the league. Clark brought fire and competitiveness, and she pushed everyone else to rise with her. Hull benefited most from Clark's presence. It's really fun because they get so much defensive attention, she said. That opens up opportunities for me. Playing with Caitlin.
The Indiana Fever had a history-making year. What was that like for you to be a part of that?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to not only play in the WNBA, but to be on a team like the Indiana Fever. I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. On the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold-out arenas that we have not played in the last 2 years before that. So it's just really exciting.
Clark changed everything for Lexie Hull. Clark's style opened up the floor in ways Hull hadn't experienced before. It lets players like me make cuts, read the defense, and actually get the ball in good spots. Hull said, she always finds a better shot, and I feel lucky to play with her. Hull laughed as she shared a story from practice. We play against a guy.
One thing that our coaches did during that break, we had a full month of practice pretty much during the Olympic break, and they would put up every day after practice our shooting percentages from 2s and 3s during drills, during scrimmages, during everything. And I think that helped me because, some people would probably it's so annoying, whatever, but I personally.
And if they're not winning, Caitlin will do whatever it takes to make them compete. That wasn't just effort. It was transformation. At first, Hull was caught off guard by Clark's vision. I wasn't expecting some of the passes she threw me. Hull admitted, "Now every cut I make, every fast break I run, I know there's a real chance I'll get the ball. She can be at the far end of the court and still hit me in stride at the other."
Numbers don't lie, unfortunately, and they're very drastic. My first 2 years, I was just so upset because I was putting in so much work, and my shooting percentages, I would granted get like 1 or 2 at the max threes a game. So it's hard to be super efficient when the pressure is really on for those couple shots. But the numbers don't lie. So it really allows you to look at improvements and really shoot for goals and keep yourself like accountable.
End. Clark didn't just bring scoring. She brought a level of playmaking that reshaped the Fever's offense. She saw gaps no one else did, threading passes through defenders and creating scoring chances out of nothing. "It's so fun knowing you're not just cutting for no reason," Hull explained. "Now I'm cutting with the chance to be part of a big play, and that makes it so much more rewarding." Clark's competitive fire spread across the team. Her energy raised the standard, and suddenly players believed they could compete with anyone. She brought more than points. She brought confidence.
All of these people were supporting me this whole time, and I didn't know that they were supporting me until that moment. So like you kind of forget that there's these people behind the scenes until they come out of the woodwork and say like, "I've been following along this whole time. Like, I'm so proud of you." And that just feels so good to know that there's, you know, such a community behind everybody on our team, even when you don't hear it every day.
For Hull, that belief was everything. Caitlin sees the game on a bigger level. Hull said, "Her platform is huge, and she's brought that same vision and leadership onto the court. For me as a guard, playing with someone like her has been incredible." Lexie.
And you and Erica Wheeler started swapping outfits. So where did that idea come from?
Our styles are so drastically different. So we were just joking, like, I wonder what it would look like if you could pull it off. And the first outfit was something so outside of what I would have ever picked out of my closet. And they're like, "That's not going to look good on me." I'm like, "All right, let's try." So then I tried it on and everyone was like, "You pull it off, you pull it off." So then it just became part of the pregame tradition. And it's a really fun, lighthearted way to just, get us in the mood.
Hull explained that having Caitlin Clark as her point guard gave her a steady source of confidence. "If I miss a shot, she'll tell me I've got the next one. I can always count on her to keep me positive," Hull said. That kind of support showed the kind of leader Clark.
Walking through the grocery store in Indianapolis and trying to just go get some groceries and someone fist bumps me and says, "Go Fever." That's just a really cool environment, and it shows, the dedication of the fans and the fandom in the city. So that part's been awesome.
Becoming. Soon, the results started to show. The Fever's offense clicked, moving from a scattered group to a team with rhythm and purpose.
Pros, it's pretty obvious. We have people filling the stands. We have people cheering. We have people so excited for the individual success of the teams, but also the league as well as players. So there's so many more eyes on the game.
For Hull, the game became fun again because every cut she made came with a real chance to score. Clark wasn't just a star. She was a difference maker who lifted the players around her. But the change didn't only come during games. It started in practice. Hull described scrimmages that turned into battles because Clark demanded the best out of everyone.
It's hard. It's easy to say, don't read it. But everybody does a little bit. And I think it's having that support system to help keep you on track.
The payoff was clear. The Fever had a season that turned heads, drawing record crowds and playing in packed arenas every night. It felt like road games were home games, Hull said. We hadn't seen that in years, and it was so exciting to be a part of it. For Hull, this wasn't just about the team's rise. It was personal. She threw herself into the details of her game, sharpening her movement and working on her
The biggest thing is finding people to kind of get you out of that cycle and get you to thinking about the positive things you did, even though a lot of times people online aren't talking about the positive things.
shot. The Olympic break gave her a full month of practice, and she saw her shooting percentages climb. That extra work gave her the confidence she needed. By the second half of the season, Hull wasn't just filling minutes. She had carved out a key role in Indiana's offense. During the Olympic break, the Fever had a full month of practice. After every session, coaches posted the team's shooting percentages from drills and scrimmages. Some players found it annoying, but Hull loved it. Seeing the numbers kept her accountable and gave her clear goals.
The fact that people are talking about the WNBA, people are tuning in to our games. That's what we want to hear, and that's only going to get us farther as we go on.
Was to chase. But none of this growth would have happened without Caitlin Clark. Her ability to draw defenders open floor for everyone else. Kelsey and Caitlin get so much attention, Hull explained, that frees players like me to cut and find openings. Those chances turned into made shots. Hull's percentages climbed, her confidence grew, and soon she was making big plays when the team needed them most. For her first 2 seasons,
I think it's moving in a good direction. I think that it's because it's more competitive and there's more eyes on it. The pool of coaches that we can choose from, I think, will only get bigger and bigger. I think we're going to have great coaches coming up, and just excited to see, what those eras look like. Like, it's unpredictable at this point, but excited to, talk about it in a year from now.